Well, welcome everyone. I'm pleased to be sharing with you about the XLerator network today. Our mission is to accelerate healthcare and biomedical technologies from the lab to the marketplace. And we are one of 4 regional idea hubs for biomedical tech transfer acceleration. These hubs were created by NIH in 2018 from a 3-year NIGMS grant. There are 4 hubs. There's one in the west, which is called Ascend, and the central hub is called Sharp Hub. The southeast is ours, it's called XLerator Network, and the northeast hub is called Driven. Each hub is led by a small business as well as a lead academic institution. And the 2 leaders collaborate with a consortium of universities. This slide shows all of our university partners. So our small business lead is Accelerate Health. They work with startups to help with their commercialization strategies, specifically for healthcare startups. And the University of Kentucky is the academic lead. We have 6 states and Puerto Rico in our network. All of them are academic institutions with the exception of the Puerto Rico Science, Technology, and Research Trust. They serve as a technology transfer office and also a commercialization stimulator for the Puerto Rican universities, which are listed here. So we have Arkansas, which the University of Arkansas is one of our partners, Mississippi, Louisiana, West Virginia, Kentucky, and South Carolina are the states in our network. Our goals for the hub are to identify commercializable healthcare ideas and innovations and research, and then protect those ideas through patents through the technology transfer process into licensable products and services. And then to increase our SBIR, STTR applications and awards, and then also angel and VC funding. And then finally to engage in the regional and national ecosystem. So work with corporate partners, utilize the accelerators and incubators out there, and also network with established managers and domain experts. So the programs and resources we have available in the network can be categorized into 4 primary groups. We have 4 educational and training programs, 2 funding resources, 2 mentoring management resources, and 3 networking resources, which I'll share with you today. First, under education and training, these are our commercialization accelerator programs. And so these are available to all of the faculty and students at the institutions in our network. We've leveraged, we're partnering with the University of Michigan to offer their fast-paced accelerator. And that's part of their medical innovation, fast forward medical innovation program. It's a 5-week life science boot camp, and they focus on all the ins and outs of what it is to start a healthcare, to take an idea to a healthcare startup. And they also focus on the art of customer discovery. And then the second program we have available is called Launch It. It's offered by the University of Louisville. This is a seasoned program. Mary Topolsky has been offering it for, I think, about 15 years. It's a little bit longer, a 10-week program. They are not specific to healthcare, so they're open to all sorts of research and innovation ideas. And the focus there is a deep evaluation of if the idea is commercializable, and then also a focus on lean startup methodology. And then the last accelerator program we have is from our small business lead on the grant, Accelerate Health. Theirs is a more extensive 12-week healthcare boot camp, and it takes founders all the way through strategizing their company all the way out to the funding mechanisms. And then our final accelerator program is Enrich. It's brand new, and that's the one Amisha is going to talk about when I'm finished here. Oh, it's specifically for a cohort of historically Black colleges and universities, or HBCUs. So our 2 funding programs we have available, this one, the first one is called I2P, or Ideas to Products. It's a proof of concept funding opportunity. We were able to offer this because of a $200,000 supplement to the grant, and we were pleased to receive 55 applicants to this. In a range of different healthcare topics. Some of our 4 main focuses, we focus on medical devices, diagnostics, therapeutics, and then healthcare IT. And we received applications in 3 of those 4 categories from a variety of different institutions in the network. So this was a great, this was early on in the grant and a great way to get the available researchers on their path towards commercialization. The second funding program we have is not, it doesn't offer money, but it offers support to go for awards within the SBIR STTR program. And Eugene Krenzel is our Chief Scientific Officer in the network, and he has designed this program. There's really two parts to it. One part is to provide resources. And as you probably know, each federal agency has their own SBIR program, and there's several different managers you can work with or talk to. There's different deadlines, there's different focuses. And so he's done an excellent job of coalescing that information here. And one thing that he's added is which states in our network provide matching funds. This is a very important resource. If you win a phase 1 or a phase 2 SBIR award, in some states they have programs to one-to-one or 50% match the award, and that's money that you don't have to pay back. And so we were working with a group out of Arkansas, and they were researchers who were going to go after an SBI award and were completely unaware of their state's own matching program. So there's helpful resources here. In addition to that, he offers a one-on-one assistance program. And so this next slide shows his first cohort of researchers he's worked with. There were 8 who came to him. It's a 6-week program. He walks them all the way through strategizing for their proposal that they're going to submit, and then thinking through partners for their startup. So everyone in this group is preparing an application for this month for the September deadline, and we're excited to follow up and find out the success rate after going through this program. So the next resource I want to share with you is about mentoring and executive management. We have 2 communities we've created to help in this area. Early on in the grant, our leadership went and visited each one of the 24 institutions and asked them, what are your gaps, what are your needs? And one of the biggest needs that came up is they needed help with mentoring, all the stages of business development and executive management. So the first community we've created to assist with this is called our SMEs, or our subject matter experts. And this is a community of volunteers who have expertise in a certain domain of the healthcare industry. So providers, clinicians, payers, they could be in big pharma, experts in HIPAA regulations, etc. And they're available for 30-minute calls. So if you have a researcher or entrepreneur who has a specific question that they just like to have a quick chat on to find out more about, this is why our subject matter expert community exists. And we've been building this slowly since the beginning of the grant. And currently, I believe we have about 107 domain experts available to our network. The second, kind of a step up on that, a deeper commitment of mentorship, is our Executives on Roster, or XOR. And I believe Ian has spoken with this group, this seminar series previously about XOR. Since then, we've been diligently building this resource, and we're now up to 49 universities who are either in the platform or eligible for the platform. We have 177 executives. So these are individuals who are currently serving in an executive level position in their business or in their organizations. And then we have 101 startups, which are researchers, innovators. They can be in the community or throughout the university. And so previously we had 2 levels of assistance. One was if a researcher was looking for someone to join their management team and help manage their business at the executive level. We have the advisory level, and then most recently we added a new category, which is those executives who are willing to commit 51% time to serve as a PI on an SBIR grant. And we weren't sure how many executives would be interested in this. So we queried at the time, I think at the time we had just over 100 executives. We asked who would be interested, and we got 12 to say that yes, they would like to serve as a PI on an SBI grant. And so we tried it out for the first time last month. The same research group out of Arkansas that I mentioned, they had 4 patents, 2 of them pending and 2 of them issued, both international and national. And they were well on the way of their development of a catalytic membrane, and they were ready to go after an SBIR award. So they came to us and said, you know, we can't handle working in the lab and working on this and doing the business aspect. We need someone to come along and help us there. And so person I work with who runs XOR, Miriam, and I, we sat down, went through the list of 12 and found 3 that we thought would be a good match. And we sent the query and all 3 wanted to work with this team. So there really is a great deal of interest on both levels and the platform really is working. On the right, you'll see our 4 most recent executives we added to the platform. And on the left, I just wanted to share with you 2 examples of matches that we've made in the healthcare space. One is Hummingbird Nano, and they specialize in microfluidics for cell viability. They were able to find a chief operating officer through XOR. And then the other is Embrace Design. They specialize in enabling mobility through bracing, and they were able to find an executive advisor to partner with them in their development. So the last thing I'll share with you are some resources we have for networking. There are 3 that I'm going to share with you. The first is, so being that these are idea states that the network provides resources for, they all have previous existing NIH awards. And so the 4 main types are COBRES, Centers for Biomedical Research Excellence, INBREs, Idea Networks for Biomedical Research Excellence, and then the 2 for which brings you all here today, the CTRs and the CTSAs. And so after these awards are given and the centers are established, there are some expert specialized equipment available through the research cores. And so we wanted to create a database that you could easily find out about this available equipment, but also collaborate if you were interested. So I'm just going to give a quick demo of how our very simple database works. Just going to pull it over here. Are you able to see this new screen now?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, great. So once again, there's a list, oops. There's a list of the, basically explains what are research cores, and these are the ones that exist in the Southeast Idea states. You can go to the database and there's a drop down of the type of award. So let's say we wanted to find out what CTRs are available in our network. And specifically, maybe we were interested in epidemiology. So we can search on that subject area. And we discover that we have 1 center in Louisiana, 1 in Mississippi, and 1 in West Virginia. And so then you can click on the website and go straight to their site and learn about their research and connect with their administrators there. So the second resource we have is very similar to that. It's an interactive map. And so what we've done is we've leveraged Google Maps, which is a free resource, to basically locate and pin some of the available programs and opportunities in the network. So some of the things that we have pinned on our map are co-working space, incubators, in terms of funding groups, venture capital groups, and seed funds that are available. We've got our maker spaces and our, in terms of research, what animal labs and wet labs are available. We have a couple healthcare simulators in the network as well, and we've pinned those to the map. So similar to the CORES database, you can either search by state, you can search by a particular address and click on it and be connected right away to the resource. And then our last resource I'll share with you is our social wall. And so what we've done is we've coalesced and we've done an aggregate of all of the Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds for our 24 partners. And they, on our homepage, are together in a feed that you can see daily what's happening and get a snapshot of the activity there. So I tend to talk too fast, so I apologize if I ran through that quickly, but that's an overview of the network, who our partners are, what our goals are, and what some of our resources are that are available. So our last most brand new resource is Enrich, and I'm going to turn it over to Almisha Campbell to talk about that.
Thank you, Liz. Lots of resources and opportunities for partnerships. And hello to everyone. Again, my name is Almisha Campbell. I am the Assistant Vice President for Research and Economic Development at Jackson State University. Previously served for 11 years as a Director for Technology Transfer and Commercialization. And this new program that we developed is called Enrich. And the program is engaging researchers and innovators for commercialization at HBCUs. This is led by Jackson State University with support from the leadership at Accelerate Health and the University of Kentucky Office of Technology Commercialization. The goals of the program are to impact equity, diversity, and inclusion in innovations and train faculty and students at historically Black colleges and universities to critically evaluate the commercial potential of new healthcare innovations. If you do not know Jackson State University, we are Carnegie Classified High Research Activity University, which is an R2, and we're designated as the Auburn University of Mississippi. And if you're looking at the news and you know sports, you know that Deion Sanders just signed on as the coach of our football team here at Jackson State. So very exciting time here in the SWAC. Jackson State mission as an HBCU is to provide quality education, teaching, research and service at the baccalaureate, master's, specialist, and doctoral levels to diverse population of students and communities. We typically serve students who are underrepresented minorities within our community, as well as we have a large population coming out of other states in the nation. So HBCUs, the higher learning institutions, were established before 1964 with a need to meet the educational needs of Black students. So when Black students were not able to go to historically white institutions, that they had to form HBCUs so they're able to get access to quality education. So currently we have 104 HBCUs, 3 of them recently closed. We had 228 students enrolled. 56 institutions are under private control with 51 public colleges and universities. So these are dependent upon state funds. Jackson State is one of those institutions. And public institutions account for more than 2/3 of the students at HBCUs. And this is data from the White House Initiative on HBCUs. This week is actually HBCU week and have a full conference this week. So the eligibility right now for this first cohort of Enrich is 31 HBCUs. As you see on the left of your screen or the right, depending on how you're looking at it, the Enrich eligible schools, you can see the 31 schools and the region in which they're from. And you can also see that from the map as we have. We're in the Southeast region, and most of the schools, as you can see by the numbering, in the Southeast hub, which is the hub that we're in. So the Enrich program is a 10-week virtual pre-accelerator program. Through that program, we're introducing faculty and students to invention disclosures, intellectual property process, the understanding how the technology transfer and commercialization offices work, how to evaluate doing the patent landscape search and market assessment. And basically we're just wetting their feet on a lot of these things so that by the time that they're finished, they're able to have a comprehensive understanding of some of these topic areas, and then they're able to go on to other programs that will provide them more in-depth information. So week 3 to 6, we're delving right into the business model canvas, and we're doing a lot of customer discovery, and they'll be able to do some practical work in this area. So they're actually gonna get out of the building and talk to people and provide some of those responses about what they learn from these customers about their ideas that they currently are participating in the program with. And then we want to talk to them about how they can leverage their TTO and the funding types that are available to them. So we're going to talk about the SBIR, STTR, and a lot of those funding mechanisms. We're also going to introduce them to startup formation and how that works. And then one of the most exciting pieces that I consider to be the most exciting piece is the pitch competition. So we're doing this for them to pitch their ideas. And so we'll have a panel of different people that's available that will listen to their pitches and give feedback on how to either improve their pitches or that they're ready to move to the next stage. And so this is one of those competitions that we're putting it out there so they can get the practice. So how do you talk to people? How do you talk to investors about your idea? How do you, within a short space of time, give that elevator pitch that really sells the idea that you have? Because a lot of the times that you maybe from floor 1 to floor 5 of an elevator to tell someone what your idea is, and you have to sell it in order to move forward. And so our instructors are coming nationally. They have expertise in, we have a patent attorney in Angela Grayson. We have Grant Warren and Mark Philemon. Both of them are highly engaged with the NIH ICO program as well as the NSF ICO program. They do a lot of work in the biomedical area. So they do understand the landscape in which we're working. Tanya Phillips is at the University of Kentucky. She knows about new ventures, technology transfer, so bringing a wealth of experience. And then we have Laura Russell Halligan, who runs the Launchable program, which is a little bit more advanced than the Enrich Pre-Accelerator program. So she's going to bring in some of that to us with her and Meredith Moore, helping with the pitch, how to get their pitch right so that they're able to compete in the final week of the program. So this is very exciting. Our cohort, our inaugural cohort started last week. And the first thing we taught them is about intellectual property. So before we can go through and teach them all the other aspects about startup formation and how to find the right fit for their business or anything like that, we have to teach them upfront about protecting their intellectual property, because as they go through the process, they have to find out whether or not they do actually have something that's proprietary, and how do they talk about this with other people, or should they, and how they disclose to their different campuses, because we do not own the intellectual property as Enrich, but the participants and their institutions will have to work that out depending on their IP policy at their different institutions. So that's part of what they're also going to learn through that process. So the program objectives, of course, we want to impact equity, diversity, and inclusion in innovations. We want to train faculty and students at HBCs to critically evaluate the commercial potential of new healthcare innovations, immerse them in commercialization pathway development process, and support their participation in established startup accelerator programs. So as we said, Enrich is a pre-accelerator program, so we're getting them ready to go to a full accelerator program, or we're getting them ready to go things like the NSF or the NIH ICO, or we're getting them ready for something else. But so that's what we're trying to do, providing that type of support in the program to be able to go to that next step. So how were the applicants selected? We looked at the validation of their concept, the potential for impacting the stated goals. We look at clarity and effectiveness. So we had them do a short video presentation. We wanted to look at how clear they were, how they were able to tell us about their ideas, or the enthusiasm, so we can get whether or not these applicants are truly engaged in this process. If they will be able to be fully engaged and committed to the process, and if the excitement from them tells us that they're actually gonna, take what we tell them, take the coaching and work throughout the process that we're going through. Because as we know, when we started any type of business, you have to have passion for what you do, and you must be able to stick with it in order for it to be successful. So currently we had 12 idea submissions for the first cohort. We had 9 individuals and 3 teams, for a total of 15 people currently participating in the inaugural cohort. So healthcare ideas came from the areas of healthcare IT, so a lot of app development, medical devices, diagnostics, and education. And these are some of the topics: healthcare, insurance, lung disease, mental stress, diabetes, dental careers, asthma, epidemic prevention. So these are some of the topics that the teams are currently working on and the individuals are currently working on with this program ongoing. So I think Ian put the Accelerator Network's website address in inside the chat. If you use that, then just do /Enrich and you'll get to the full page for the Enrich program. So you learn a lot about our advisory board, you learn about what we're doing in terms of getting sponsorship to fully fund the program. You're also going to learn about how we got our funding, other things about the program, Q&As. There's lots of information on the website if you want to learn more about the program. So the Accelerator Networks really supports us to the curriculum development. We have personnel support to the program for part-time program manager. We do a lot with promoting the program, also the advisory board, and I show a little bit of the advisory board. Then, of course, the expertise, because of course we're promoting Enrich for HBCUs, and a lot of them are under-resourced institutions. And so to get the expertise and support from external partners that are able to work with us, most of them, well, majority of them for free. And so this is really something that we truly benefit from because of our affiliation with the XLerator network. And so our team, and I mentioned it earlier, University of Kentucky Office of Technology Commercialization, the Jackson State University Office of Technology Transfer Commercialization, the JSUI Core Site Program, which is funded by the National Science Foundation. So we are leveraging those expertise in that area, and of course, Accelerate Health because of the expertise in the healthcare arena. So some of our key team members, of course, myself leading the effort with Ian McClure, one of the brainchild behind Enrich. We mentioned Tanya. Tanya is also a member of our advisory board. Eugene Krenstall from Accelerate Health, he's also a member of the advisory board. We have Jackie Wilmot, who is the CEO and co-founder of Accelerate Health. Liz Knapp is a program manager at the UK Tech Transfer Office, and she has been very instrumental in work with me to develop and move the Enrich program forward. And of course, we have other support from within the Accelerate Health and Accelerator Network program in terms of getting curriculum development, designing the website and all of that stuff. A truly dynamic team of people working together to make sure that this program meets its intended impact. So currently we're looking, so most of the funding that we currently have is funded through NIH, of course, coming through the Accelerator Network funding, but we're currently looking for sponsorship to assist with curriculum development and delivery, mentoring prices for the participant, patent expenses. Ideally, we would love to assist with the filing fees up front for the applications for anyone going through the program. Entry fees for other accelerator programs, also for culminating event. When we get out of this pandemic, hopefully very soon, we would love if by the next cohort that the culminating event would be in a specific location, whether it's Jackson State, University of Kentucky, or one of the other schools that have participants in the program. We would actually love to come together and for everyone to meet and to just have that good feeling of coming together and being through a cohort together. So hopefully we can do that, if not in the spring, in the fall of next year. And then of course, program sustainability, because we do not just want to do this as a pilot program and within a year it goes away. I'm very adamant that every focus that I have is to ensure the longevity of this program and its impact, not only just as HBCUs, but at Hispanic serving institutions, other MSIs. We would really love for this program to be there for a very long time and to make some really good impact in this area. We're really looking for champions and collaborators. I don't know if Ian wants to chime in, but we're definitely looking for people, for site champions who would have advertised Enrich institution and statewide. One of the things that we found in going through this first cohort was that when we had a champion at a particular HBCU, we were able to get participants from that particular university. When we didn't have that, we were sending it to different people on the campuses, but we had no contact or any type of control into if the information is actually disseminated or any way to follow up with the individual who receive the information on their campuses. So this is something we would definitely love to have those site champions. In Alabama, there are 13 HBCUs, Arkansas, 4 HBCUs, Tennessee, 7 HBCUs, and of course in Mississippi, I'm targeting those in Mississippi through our Mississippi Research Consortium and our feeder schools in trying to ensure that we get more participation from the schools in our state. We're looking for collaborators to give insight in clinical and translational research and science, because we may have participants in all sorts of different areas. And so if we have this type of expertise, if we have this type of collaboration, I think it would make the program even more impactful. We're intending for the program to be offered twice a year, the spring and fall semester. And so that's why right now, we're gearing up to start promoting for the spring so that we can really get a good head start. But in order to do that, we want to ensure that we have site champions in these particular states or in the particular school. So if you know anyone in these schools that would be an ideal person for this program to help recruit students and faculty, we would definitely love that. And I think that's something we didn't really stress, but we have both students and faculty participating in the program. And this current cohort, we have much more faculty than students. We would love to see where there's a good balance between faculty and students participating because of the intended impact of the program. And we believe strongly that this program will really make a good impact in the healthcare area at these schools.
Amisha, I'll just jump in real quick. We learned that Virginia, there may be members on this webinar from Virginia. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 6 institutions in Virginia as well that I didn't add to the slide. Okay.
Thanks. And I know in South Carolina, we have participation from Claflin University, but we also have someone from our external advisory board who is working on the other HBCU in South Carolina. And so that's why we didn't put that one here, because I think we have a good way of getting to those schools in South Carolina.
And just quickly, Amisha, for the group here, I mean, one of the reasons why we wanted to highlight these 3 states, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, of course, part of our CTR, CTSA network, but we, you know, I think that's what one of the reasons we really wanted to present this to this group is because the CTR, CTSA network is just that, another network. And we know that everyone here has people, whether they're colleagues, former colleagues, peers, collaborators that you've worked on other projects with that may know potential champions at additional HBCUs as we extend, as Amisha described, as we expand the scope of this program to all HBCUs, not just those in idea states. We are really looking for additional participants, additional champions, and that's key to really make connection with those champions at these institutions. Across the whole country, because, you know, as Amisha described, we currently have seed funding to launch this program, as we already have, to grow this program over the next year or so, but we need to sustain it, and we can only do that through real robust collaboration, real robust participation, and sponsors that are willing to help us sustain this, to make this a program with real longevity.
Yes, thank you, Ian. And that's very, very good, because I know, like we said, from the very beginning, we were adamant that we have to make sure that this program is sustainable. One of the things we didn't want to go into the school, start something, and as soon as they start getting excited, and then we're no longer there. So we're working really hard to do this. Our advisory board is working really hard, and we're just trying to make the different connections and the collaborations. So if anyone has any ideas of or suggestions of how we can move forward in finding champions, collaborators, or in finding sponsors for such a program, we're open to all sorts of suggestions. If you would like to find us on social media, of course, our website, I also put it in the chat. It's acceleratednetwork.com/enrich. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and as well as Twitter as Enrich Program, and then on Facebook as Enrich Pre-Accelerator. So you can find us there. We try our best to post as much information as we can. We are currently following the HBCUs that are eligible for this particular cohort, and we'll expand that to all HBCUs and to HSIs as we move forward. Our email address, I didn't put it there, but if you need to reach out to us, it's Enrich, I'll put it in the chat, enrich@acceleratornetwork.com. And my email address, I'll also put it in the chat so you can have it if you need to reach me directly. And I think the others can put this in if they need to. And that's it from my end, unless anyone has any specific questions for me.
Thanks, Almisha and Liz, both you guys for giving us the rundown on the XLerator Network and the Enrich program. I just put a couple of comments here about how important this program is. And really, you know, we wanted to present this to ask the CTSA, CTR network to promote these things. And most pointedly, the Enrich program. We're off to a fantastic start. We've been able to recruit an awesome team, starting with Almisha to lead it. But there are many of you here that represent states that we have not promoted this program to yet. And this is the first time you're hearing about it because it has not been extended beyond the IDEA states yet. But that's our goal. And so we wanted to introduce it to you and start forming new champions. Any questions from the group? Comments, questions about either XLerator Network or in the Enrich program that we can help answer?
Yeah, Ian, this is Nancy Gray. And I actually told Almisha to reach out to me after this because of the boot camp that we run here out of UAMS that's sponsored by our INGRADE program. I've got some of the connections into the Arkansas-based HBCUs. So awesome. I think I can help out there.
That'd be great.
So, but I do have a question. I just started with my commentary. So UAMS is not a partner school with, you know, the XLerator network. You know, our Fayetteville campus is. My question is how is best to get the XLerator network more widely known at a non-partner school, not just UAMS, but also some of the schools that are engaged in our INGRADE program, which I think at last count, we have 19 schools engaged in our INGRADE program, so that you really do, not just for Arkansas, of course, but that's where I live, but so that you really are able to reach the mission of the XLerator Hub to be more broadly disseminated in the Southeast region. Yeah,
so really good question, Nancy. And I've got a pretty good answer because it's as we enter this final year 3, one of our top goals is to expand engagement of the network beyond our 24 sort of founding institutions that were a part of our partnership to begin the project. And each of our state leads, so the Fayetteville campus at University of Arkansas is our state lead in Arkansas. Each of our state leads have been given the task to expand the network and ensure engagement and introduction to all institutions in all of our Southeast IDEA states for year 3. We really want to engage all institutions that are not currently one of our 24 partner institutions in those IDEA states, and UAMS, frankly, is at the top of that list. I mean, we would love, Nancy, for you and UAMS to get involved with us. And I can work with you and with Bob Beidel and Cynthia Sides at the Fayetteville campus to make sure that happens. But that's important to us. And it's UAMS. There's a number of other both large and small institutions that have come to us and said, how do we get involved? And that's a top goal for us here in year 3. Year 1 was sort of a let's design it. Year 2 was a let's build it. And here in year 3, it's really all about engagement. Now that we have programs being offered, tools and resources that are built and now accessible, year 3 is about engagement. So we really want to start doing that.
I'll just add that we have a scientific advisory committee, and Lawrence Cornett, who I believe is the INGRADE director for—
Yeah, Larry is the INGRADE PI here, yeah.
Yeah, and he's on the science advisory committee, so that might be another area to collaborate for getting the message out in Arkansas.
Yeah, well, as usually Larry calls me.
Oh, okay.
And I will also add that what we're looking into, so I know the folks at Accelerate Health pretty well, and we're in a lot of communication. We might actually be bringing the boot camp in virtual mode into the offerings as well.
That'd be awesome.
So we are, I am connected, I should say. So I guess sort of a follow-up question is if people are, I know there's a newsletter that comes out because I get it. Is there a way for the listening audience to get onto that newsletter that is sent out?
There on our website, if you go to our website at the bottom, there's a place to sign up for the newsletter, and that's probably the easiest way. You can also like us on social media. Our social media is, I'll put it in the chat. It's just Accelerator Network for Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, we would love everyone to sign up for that newsletter, and that's where you can get the sort of up-to-date stories and offerings and opportunities as a good way to follow us and tag along. And Nancy, I didn't know that you were already working with the Accelerate Health folks, so that's fantastic. We'd love to bring that program into the fold and offer it to the rest of the region. Any other comments or questions from the group here? Okay. Well, look, we really appreciate your time and the opportunity to introduce the Accelerator Network as well as the Enrich program. If you have any additional questions, Liz and Almisha have both put their contact information, their email here in the chat. Please feel free to reach out to us and engage. We're here to talk about these things until our face is blue. So we love to talk about these things and meet people that are interested.
And my thanks to Kentucky for stepping up and kicking off this year's HSIE seminar series program. And the good news is this program has always been virtual and web-based because we bring in a number of different schools. So adapting to COVID-19 wasn't as challenging. Yes, but I appreciate you guys stepping up and kicking us off. Thank you very much.
Sure thing.